You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Frightmares Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for episode 367 is my good friend, Jason Hill. How we doing?
I'm doing good. I feel like the only movies I do on your podcast are either Alien movies or Brian Yuzna movies.
Those are two excellent choices, so I am absolutely here for both of those. Today, on the first installment of March Labness, we're discussing our essential pick, Re-Animator from 1985, a movie that proves two things. One, death is temporary, and two, decapitation is merely an inconvenience. Let's see where this lands on the Nightmare Index. All right, let's talk about some things we've watched. I don't know how busy you have been, Jason, or what you have seen recently, but what do you got?
I watched Freaky Tales last weekend. Have you seen this? You know what I'm talking about?
I have the movie, but I have not watched it.
I feel like that's every time I ask, have you seen this movie? You've heard about it? I was like, I've got it. I own the movie on Blu-ray 4K. It's a thing that I have. I haven't watched it, but it's something. Yeah. It's something that I bought it 6 months ago when it came out, and I haven't even thought about it since.
How was it?
It's good. It's a good movie. It's an anthology kind of thing, but it's sort of like Pulp Fiction's it, where they all sort of like kind of tie in to a little bit.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that.
But it's about a couple tales that take place in Oakland in the 80s.
Okay.
There's two really good cameos in it. One, it's funny how Marshawn Lynch has basically become the mascot of Oakland. And like if anybody's anything Oakland or even Bay Area related, like Marshawn Lynch is going to be there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Isn't
but there's another big
Pedro...
cameo from somebody that's from Oakland. I was like, oh, good for you.
Good for you. You did it. Well, Pedro Pascal's in that, right? Too, isn't he?
Yes. Pedro Pascal is in it, and then a lot of the other folks are some of like sort of known folks that aren't really like massive, like Pedro Pascal is.
Okay.
It's from the people that directed the Miss Marvel movie or Captain Marvel movie.
Captain Marvel. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, but
no, they've been doing indie, like Half Nelson. They've been it's kind of a funny story. They're pretty much indie folks, really.
Uh-huh.
But every once in a while, you gotta suck it up and work for the mouse every once in a while.
No,
people have
fair.
mortgages to make. People have got to pay their loans off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I need to check that one out still. What else have you seen? Is that about it for you?
No, I watched Dairy Girls on Netflix, which came out. It's over now. It's a UK show, or it's just from Ireland.
Okay.
It takes place in the 90s. It's about these girls growing up, and it's essentially a sitcom about these girls growing up in Ireland, these teenage girls.
Okay.
And they're just chaos. These three, these girls, it's just nonstop. I'm like, why are you doing this? And then occasionally you get a little bit of the whole IRA trouble stuff between Ireland and the UK.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. If you probably need at least a tertiary knowledge of the troubles going on in the 90s.
Okay.
But it's not essential.
All right. I gotcha. Let's see.
I keep needing to watch Badlands, but I keep forgetting about it. I still haven't seen Badlands, and I'm very upset about this.
Oh, Predator Badlands?
Yeah.
I
feel like a bad Alien Predator fan.
No, it is streaming though now. It is available. They did put out a 4K and a Blu-ray as well. So, I really liked it. I think Dan Trachtenberg just let him cook because he is single-handedly saving this Predator franchise. Not like it was I mean, AVP. Well, those are like the last installments, right? Or was
the Predator that came out, which was god awful.
Yeah, I
still haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's
bad. So weird because Shane Black wrote and directed it. You would think if anybody would have a handle on Predator, it would be Shane Black.
Yeah, so
but he was in the original one, and he did some uncredited rewriting on the original one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just let Dan Trachtenberg cook, because between Prey, Predator, Killer of Killers, and then Badlands, I think I gave all of those a 4 or higher. Like, he is absolutely cooking. So let the man do that. Let's see here. On the 2 episodes ago, Corey had mentioned a movie that he has been adamantly asking me to watch. It's called The Man from Earth. And have you heard of this one?
No.
I think you would like this one. I don't know the director. No, I don't know the director, but his career is wild. He did I Spit on Your Grave 3, Abraham Lincoln, fucking not Vampire Hunter. Come on, Letterboxd, let's go. Sometime today. Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. Mischief Night. But then he does the Man from Earth, which has a 3.8, I want to say. Out of 5 on Letterboxd, and it's a bottle film, takes place all in one location, and it is essentially it's a conversation. It's an 87-minute conversation, and I have never been more glued to that type of movie before in my life. It was a fascinating conversation. Tony Todd is in it. David Lee Smith is in it. John Billingsley is in it. William Catt from the House franchise is in it. Solid fucking movie. I gave it a 4.5. It is on Prime Tubi Plex. I highly recommend that one. It is not a horror movie. I don't even know what you would classify this movie as. Let's see what Letterboxd has as the genre.
A talkie. They call it a talkie.
Okay, a talkie. Drama sci-fi. So, but yeah, it's real quick. You're in and you're out. And Corey did mention kind of the ambiguous ending. I think it has a definite answer. I won't say what it is, but that was really good. I did go to the theater and see the brand new Psycho Killer movie. I'm not sure, dude. I don't know if I watched a different cut than everybody else, because it has a 2.0 out of 5. Everyone is shredding this movie to pieces. I fucking loved it. Is it flawed? Absolutely. There are plenty of things I was like, but I mean, for 92 minutes, a lot of blood and guts, satanic, culty shit. I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
That's I actually looked at Rotten Tomatoes a while ago to see what that was. It's currently like 10% on the critics review. It got up to 10. I was surprised.
Oh, it got up to 10.
0 for a while. It got up to 10. Some improvement. And also, but even worse, the audience score is 30%. It's like, that's real bad for the audience score to be that bad.
And I don't understand. I've read reviews and stuff, and everyone's just like, oh, this was just a complete mess. And I watched it with Spencer. We both went and saw it together. I think he gave it a 3.5 and I gave it a 4. We both sat there while the credits were rolling, looking at each other like, I really enjoyed that. I don't get the hate. I don't know. I'm also a very lenient critic. Everyone knows this, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 for me. I'm not going to recommend you go see it because apparently everyone hates it, but that was just me.
I want to go see it, and I'm going to just like call you up and just give you a tongue lashing for how much I hated this movie.
Leave me just.
How dare you recommend this movie to me? You
No. I want to go on record and say that I didn't recommend this. I just liked it. So I did go see as well Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, the latest Gore Verbinski vehicle here. He hasn't done a movie since 2016's A Cure for Wellness, and this movie was a goddamn masterpiece. It stars a Sam Rockwell, and Michael Pena is also in it. A couple other people that looked familiar, but I don't really know who they are. Currently rocking a 3.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which is quite impressive. And it's or 3.5 now, sorry. But it's a really good commentary on the social, political, climate, AI, and all of that stuff. He basically... What was my review? Because my review encompasses what the movie is. Oh, so yeah. Gore Verbinski coming back after a 10-year hiatus from directing to shit all over everything wrong with the U.S. is so based. I love this man. So It's really good. It's really funny. It's a sci-fi, I'd say with some horror elements, but it's like an action comedy sci-fi. Sam Rockwell is amazing in everything, but he was particularly slaying in this movie. Definitely recommend that one, especially if you're a fan of Gore Verbinski.
He's got quite the career, quite the filmography.
He can literally do everything.
Like The Ring, his first movie. Was The Ring his first movie?
It was one of his first. He did The Ring, and then the Pirates trilogy. He did Rango. He can literally do any genre. It's insane. He can do the action adventure. He can do the sci-fi. He can do an animated movie. And then horror movies, A Cure for Wellness and The Ring. I mean, the man doesn't miss, in my opinion. He is an incredible...
He didn't do Rings, did he?
No, God, no. He did not do that. Or The Ring 2. He was not involved in either one of those. The Ring 2, it's like I have nostalgia for it, but it's not really a good movie. But then Rings is just an atrocity. It is a sin. I don't know what they were trying to do with that. I mean, I guess they were trying to modernize it. You know, it was like flash drives and shit. But man, I remember rewatching that. Like, it can't be that bad. No, it is that bad. It is so bad. Like, so for example, the first Ring, 4.5 out of 5 from me. Ring 2 gets a very generous 3. A 3. But then Rings, I think I gave Rings a 1.5. It might even be a 1. If Letterboxd would go, 2.5. Wow. Okay. That's way more generous. So maybe I need to rewatch that. But it's directed by Javier Gutierrez, who apparently is someone I'm confusing someone else with. Disregard. Never mind.
I remember I was never the biggest fan of The Ring. I always thought it was fine.
Right.
But I didn't love it. But I remember I saw The Ring 2 in theaters and I hated it.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to, because I was in high school at the time. And I remember, like, the next day or whenever I think we had in class, had to write some sort of like review for something. And I remember I wrote a quick review for The Ring 2, and my teacher sent it back to me. It was like, he gave me like an A. He said, "Yes, I saw it and I also hated it." Good teacher. I think he's just like, I hated it. The ending made no sense.
Yeah, that ending is a bit silly. Did you do the cult movie challenge this week yet? The Blood Theater week. Did you do that one?
I haven't gotten around to it. See, I was about to start watching. I'm trying to watch movies that I haven't seen.
Gotcha.
And then I was about to watch Piranha, and I had to watch something for this show, of course, too. And then I was like, oh no, I watched Piranha back in December or something. So I was like, oh, so now I'm looking through other stuff. I did watch last week. I watched Tales from the Crypt 3. Not Crypt, Tales from the Hood
3
with
yes.
Tony Todd.
Okay.
Because that was Tony Todd week. Have you watched Blood Theater this week? Have you picked one?
Yeah, so I was originally going to do She-Devil from like 1957, I think, because I'd seen the remake and wasn't huge on it. Or at least I assume it's the remake, because there's another She-Devil with like fucking what's-her-face from the John Goodman show in the 90s. Oh my God, not Full House.
Roseanne?
Yeah, her name, Roseanne.
Idiot.
Fucking idiot. It's been a day. But that one wasn't streaming anywhere, so I went back and looked. It also was released on my birthday. I just had, because I was going through Chiller Theater on IMDb, and I was like, oh, that one released on my birthday. Let's do that one. And, March 22nd. But I ended up going with Eyes Without a Face because I've seen that poster and I know the name, but I don't know anything about it. I assume there's...
Sure, that's a good one. I've seen it. It's in the Criterion Collection.
It is. So, I mean, I figured at the very base level that there would be someone with a face, or with no face and eyes, and that's exactly what it is. But I didn't know it was French. I had no idea. It is an actual spoken French film, which it is the earliest French film I've ever seen, because I was looking through Letterboxd, and the earliest French film I'd seen prior was Delicatessen from 1991. But this movie was absolutely incredible for the 60s, and some of the things they were able to do, practical effects wise, and even when she does, because she does take off the mask at about halfway through, and you're like, oh, that's horrifying for 1960. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it's a brilliant film. I still have like 5 or 10 minutes left because I didn't get to finish it. But I mean, I can tell it's, I'm not going to just be like, no, this sucks. It has like a 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So that was
it's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Well,
like the doctor scene, is it like the doctor scene where they're like cutting up the face I was like, holy cow, this movie is like, they're showing that. And this time, that's crazy.
Yeah. He like cuts off an entire face off, like with a scalpel and blood's going down. I was like, wow, that's impressive for 1960. It's also in black and white too. When around this time they had color movies, but I liked the aesthetic choice for this. It did give it a completely different tone. And even one of the actresses, one of the girls that ends up getting kidnapped in the beginning or halfway through the film, her eyes, even on black and white, were so striking. She just had such pretty eyes. I was like, how do you have such pretty eyes on black and white film? Like, it doesn't make sense. But aesthetically, it is beautiful, very well shot, great score. That's a one I'm going to recommend. So Chiller Theater Week was a lot of fun. I think that's all I've got for recently watched, other than Singing in the Rain, which was fucking fantastic. God, that movie was amazing. Even though Gene Kelly is kind of or not Gene Kelly. Is that Gene Kelly, right? The main guy?
I'm pretty sure it's Gene Kelly.
Or am I thinking of Letterboxd is just fucking off today. Yeah, Gene Kelly is an asshole, but he is very talented. So, all right. Well, with all of that being said, I think we should roll on to the body count. Ooh, screaming right in my ear. That was loud this time. All right. So, my mouse is on my iPad. I don't want that. There we go. All right, so Re-Animator from 1985. This was released on October 18th of that year in the USA. It is rated R for moderate sex and nudity, severe violence and gore, mild profanity, mild alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and severe frightening and intense scenes, coming in at a brisk hour and 24 minutes, listed as a comedy horror sci-fi. Directed by Stuart Gordon, he did things like From Beyond, Dolls, and Dagon. We have reviewed the latter two on this show. Written by 3 people. First up, we have Dennis Paoli. He also wrote From Beyond, Ghoulies 2, and The Dentist 1 and 2. Fucking Brian. And then here's the Brian Yuzna of it all, too.
Yeah.
He's coming back in because he also produced Re-Animator. Then we have William Norris, who only has one other credit for Re-Animator the Musical in 2012. And then, of course, written by Stuart Gordon, who, this is the wildest... I didn't know this until I was writing this down. He also wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in between.
Yeah, him and Brian Yuzna both did. Or I think Yuzna got a story by credit. But yeah, he wrote the...
I was like, what? Okay.
And, I'm pretty sure he was mad because even though he wrote the screenplay, Disney wouldn't let him direct it, even though he had directed several movies before.
Probably
now, granted,
because
the movies that he had directed are very un-Disney friendly.
That's probably, that's probably why, honestly. Yeah. But then he would go on to do, he would write Body Snatchers, and then he would write The First Dentist, composed by Richard Band, who has literally composed fucking everything for Full Moon. He has like 150 credits. It would be a sin to just name a couple. He's Charles Band's brother, and Charles Band owns Full Moon. I assume they kind of own it together, but he scores almost every Full Moon feature, and his scores fucking slap. Every time I see Richard Band's name come up, I'm like, this is going to be a good score. Cinematography by...
Go ahead.
This
is an Empire movie, which was a Charles Band studio before Full Moon.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so even better. I did notice that on this watch. I was like, oh, Empire. I totally forgot about that. Cinematography by Mac Alberg, who also did the cinematography for Ghoulies, From Beyond, and House 1 through 3. Edited by Lee Percy, who also edited Troll, From Beyond, and Dolls. Starring, of course...
Not Trolls 2.
Not Trolls 2. Starring of one of my favorite people, I literally have him tattooed on my leg as Herbert West. We have Jeffrey Combs. He was also in The Frighteners, another brilliant performance as Milton Dammers. We have Bruce Abbott as Dan. I hate this name. Dan Kane. I just want to say Dane Kane. He returns in Bride of Re-Animator. Barbara Crampton is in this too as Megan Halsey. She was actually just on an episode we did last month, or 2 months ago. We Are Still Here as Anne Sacchetti, but she was all over the 80s. She was also in Chopping Mall, which we reviewed as well. Everyone should know Barbara. David Gale is Dr. Carl Hill, who also returned in Bride of Re-Animator, which is very strange given his current situation at the end of this movie. And then we have Robert Sampson as Dean Halsey, who is a very prolific TV actor from like the 50s through the 80s, but he was also in Robot Jocks as Commissioner Jameson. That's another Yuzna Stewart movie. I believe they were both involved. Shockingly low budget of only $900,000, grossing about $2 million, filmed in LA and Pasadena, California. You can watch this on Prime, Roku, and Tubi. Movies that came out around the same time. I feel like I say this almost every week at this point, but Jesus Christ, what a year, or what a time of 1985 to be alive. Fright Night, Weird Science, Real Genius, The Return of the Living Dead, Teen Wolf, Hard Rock Zombies, Commando, Silver Bullets, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, Once Bitten, and Rocky 4. That is a lot of solid movies right there, if you ask me.
Commando is like the ultimate like 80s just dumb action movie.
Oh yeah. I saw that and I was like, I need to rewatch that. So,
Arnold mowing down folks with just a shotgun and AK-47 and just like all to find his daughter. It's a blast of a movie.
It is.
Is it a good movie? No.
No.
Is it a blast?
Absolutely. So IMDb summary here. After an odd new medical student arrives on campus, a dedicated local and his girlfriend become involved in bizarre experiments centering around the reanimation of dead tissue. Let's roll into the autopsy. All right, Jason. Overall thoughts on Re-Animator. What do you got for me?
I really enjoy this movie. It's a blast of a movie. It's sort of in that whole Evil Dead 2 of a not quite as slapstick as Evil Dead 2 is, but it's up there with it. The performances are great. Jeffrey Combs makes me laugh nonstop, and it's hilarious knowing that originally the script had no comedy in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, how did it get from no comedy to this? This is ridiculous. Yeah, but all the gore effects, all the sets, it's just a lot of fun to watch. It's a highlight of the 80s horror oeuvre.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I didn't write down overall thoughts just because it's just one of my favorite movies. It is near perfect to me, and we'll get to why it's not later. I mean, like I said before, I have Herbert West tattooed on my leg. I love this movie. From the first time I saw it, it was an instant hit, to now it still hits just as good for me. And I actually have this fancy copy here that they released recently, the big ass there's nothing on the back. Well then, fuck, I don't know why I'm showing that. But yeah, came with a whole bunch of stuff. You've got this like booklet and shit, 40 years of Re-Animator, and they just announced recently this same company, Ignite Films, is doing Bride of Re-Animator with another big box. This movie is just so much goddamn fun. I love this movie. I can literally throw it on at any time if I just want a good laugh or some good practical effects. Definitely just like you said, highlight of the 80s. So going into, instead of derailing immediately like the movie does, let's talk about a little bit of setup here first. So when did you actually first come across Re-Animator in your horror watching?
So even when I was a kid, I always remember seeing that big box of VHS tape at the video store.
Oh, yeah.
I never watched it when I was a kid, but I think about high school was when I first sat down and watched the movie. I don't remember if I rented it or if it was just on television late at night. But I remember watching that's kind of fun. But I didn't think about it much. And then later in life, I saw it. I remember it was one of the movies that Joe Bob showed on the first marathon, that 24-hour marathon he did.
Yeah.
And I watched it after that. I watched it during that. And I'd seen it a couple times before that. It's just a fun movie. It's a movie that I always really like. It's a movie that I would recommend to folks that have seen all the big stuff but haven't really seen something like it's not a B tier movie, but it sort of gets lumped in with if you haven't seen if you've seen Evil Dead 2, you'll probably like Re-Animator. If you like Return of the Living Dead, you'll like Re-Animator. People have seen those two movies probably more than Re-Animator. Sadly, but it's a movie not everybody has. It needs to be seen more than just cult fans, because this is a legitimately good movie. Yeah, and when we go on to not even just our ratings, but the ratings on all the places you can rate movies, they're all fantastic. So I mean, my history is obviously a lot more boring since I got into horror extremely late in life and didn't really dive into the 80s even until
my late 20s probably. So if we actually go to Letterboxd,
2 years ago, that's when he first.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Watched a horror movie 2 years ago.
I was 33. No, so the first time, at least that
I didn't really know what a horror movie was until the pandemic started, and then I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh yeah. Okay, I understand it. We're living in a horror movie. I'm gonna say this is probably the first time I saw it was February 24, 2019. I'm assuming that is because that was the first year we started the podcast, so that's probably when I watched it. And then I've watched it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times since then. So basically about one time a year I am watching this movie. And like I said, right away, it was an instant hit with me. I loved it, and I still continue to love it now. And I do, it is interesting because I would classify this as a B movie, but it doesn't feel like a B. I don't know. Where does it sit for you? Because like, by all accounts, it's a low budget horror movie, but it doesn't feel necessarily like a very campy 80s, B movie.
Yeah, so this kind of feels in that weird, it's not quite a direct-to-video because it did get a theatrical release. It was intended to be I remember when they first started, it was supposed to be a TV show. They were going to make it a 30-minute TV show. Now, I don't know who would be buying this in the 80s. HBO wasn't really a thing.
Right.
And then when it did start, it was only an evening thing. ABC was not going to be having ABC presents the Re-Animator TV show with Herbert West.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Oh, no, that is not happening. Twin Peaks is way down the road at this point.
Yeah, that's 7 years later.
It lives in that weird sort of it is a B movie because back when the 80s and before, B movies could get a theatrical release. Movies like Ghoulies got a theatrical release.
Right.
That doesn't happen now, but it is I guess it is kind of a B movie but it lives in a time where those could get released theatrical, maybe not wide, but you could see them in bigger cities or even smaller cities that had a big theater. And definitely on late night because that was another big thing. It was show it on late night television. People just needed programming, and they would just program anything.
Yeah.
So I guess technically, especially because of low budget, but you gotta think it costs more to make than Halloween did. It costs more to make than the first Friday the 13th movie did.
Shit, that's true.
And those were massive.
Yeah. And what's interesting too about Re-Animator is the fact that Stuart Gordon before this really hadn't done too much, right? So he had done, let's go back in his filmography. Actually, no, he was
a theater guy.
This was, yeah, that's right. He was a theater guy. This was his actual, second movie, it appears. He did something in 1979 called Bleacher Bums. So Re-Animator was his first real movie with a budget, which is wildly impressive that's an incredible start. And then he would go on to do From Beyond and then Dolls and then a lot of other good movies as well. So I think it's crazy that first time, and it happens, Zach Kreger's in a good example with Barbarian. He just came out of the gate swinging. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I think it's very impressive that for someone who had never directed a horror movie before, this being his first one, really, I guess, he came onto the scene hot. And
sure. Even somebody like Kreger, who that was his first movie, but he'd been doing Whitest Kids for, years before that. So he had some little bit of Hollywood cred. This is a guy who was doing theater in Chicago.
Right. So you're totally right. Zach had that knowledge of film production and even though he did a TV show and stuff like that, he was still in the industry before he did Barbarian. So that is a very good point. But yeah, this is it's like a B movie, but it's not a B movie. And for me, I know it is a comedy, it is a comedy horror, but what's interesting to me is that everybody plays it so fucking straight. They're not playing for laughs, but things that are happening on screen it's hard to not say that they're funny because it's fucking hilarious. The scene I wanted to mention specifically is that scene where Dr. Hill, he's headless at this point. He's got his head in a fucking bag and he puts that fake head on his with the doctor's mask and he's just creepy. It's that's fucking hilarious. But they're not playing it for laughs. He's just trying to get into the lab. So I find it.
And the security guard's just looking at him. He's like, is that you, Doc? All right. And he's like, all right, time for my break. He's like, dude, you're reading a porno magazine. You need a break now?
Yeah, and I love how he's in the bag. So he's like, yes, of course, it's me. It's Dr. Hill. You can barely hear him.
Yeah.
So I love it.
My favorite, the comedic moments is usually when Herbert and Dan are having like something bad has happened because Herbert sucks, and he was like, and Dan's having a panic attack and just in shock, and Herbert would just walk over, like put his jacket on. I was like, hey, it's okay. We just reinvented life. It's okay. I know we just killed everybody you love, but we'll be totally fine.
Yeah,
it's going to be. I killed your girlfriend's cat, but it's going to be totally fine. Yeah, I killed your girlfriend's dad. It's going to be totally fine.
Yeah, he didn't specifically kill the girlfriend either, but basically everyone in Dan's life just died because of Herbert.
Because this guy wanted a room to stay in that had a basement. That's all.
That was the qualification. Oh, he's like, oh, this will work very well. I like this. But yeah, it's this deadly serious movie, but played at such an absurd, with an absurd chaotic energy. And I think that's why it doesn't collapse on itself tonally, because it's just a perfect mix of everything we've been talking about. It just works. And this. This might not be up people's alley. Go ahead.
No, like when he kills his dad's, his girlfriend's dad, and he was like, and they're like trying to process. It's like, hey, Dan, come on, grab him. We'll never get a fresher body than this. What are you doing? Come on.
And that is the madness behind Dr. Herbert West, because before we go into the flying the heads that are coming off and radioactive highlighters, let's talk about the real monster here, which is ego. Not only from Herbert West, but we will get to Dr. Hill here in a second. I mean, is Herbert West the pettiest man in horror history? Because he gets called out by Dr. Hill, and I think he's so taken. I mean, he was already studying in Germany on the reagent and stuff like that, but then he gets called out by Dr. Hill in front of the entire class. Like, it's going to be a pleasure to fail you. And I think that's what drives him to prove him wrong. I'm going to prove your 6 to 12 minute theory is fucking bullshit of brain death. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know.
He's essentially, he watches the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary and all the pain. It's like, oh yeah, no, I totally get that. I totally get that, MJ. I took offense to that too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, is he evil? Is he a genius? Is he just the most aggressive fucking student of Miskatonic University that is committed to being right? Like, what is he? Because morals go out the window with Herbert West. And I don't, and it's weird because like, he is not a good person, I don't think, but I love his character, and I'm rooting for him still. Which is a really hard character. I don't know how they wrote him so well, because by all accounts, you are not supposed to like Herbert, but I love just his madness, and his energy is fucking electric, at least to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it is the madness and the ego. And he's not specifically going out. I mean, he kills the cat. You don't see it, but he killed that cat. He kills that cat. He didn't just happen upon a dead cat. Like, no.
That cat did not knock over the trash can and get a jar stuck on its head, because in like the next scene, we find his diary where he's reanimated all sorts of animals, and you're like, you fucking killed that cat. Also, it looked like it had its neck snapped.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy who's like, I'm not going to kill anybody, but if something happens, like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he doesn't kill anybody initially either, but as the movie goes on, he does end up killing Dr. Hill. But one of the things I loved about his completely unbalanced moral compass is, after like he threatens Dan after the whole cat incident happens, because he knows Dan is sleeping with the dean's daughter, and he's like, it would be a shame if you got, kicked out of school for something immoral. And I'm like, who are you talking to him about morality right now, buddy? Like, what do you mean? Like pot kettle? I don't know.
You're going down with me.
And that's another thing, which perfectly transitions into Dr. Hill, because Dr. Hill does the same thing. And like, as unhinged as Herbert is, I think Dr. Hill is even worse than Herbert West. What do you think about that? Do we think that he is kind of the villain, I know, but I honestly think that he is worse than Herbert with his intentions.
He's slightly more calculated, reserved in his awfulness, where like he's so like Herbert West is so hyper focused on the reanimating thing, where he's just kind of like, now, let's do it. Where the doctor's kind of like, well, if this were to happen, and he's thinking a little bit more steps ahead, where Herbert's kind of like, all right, cool, let's do this now.
Yeah, Herbert is like, let's see, it's almost like Herbert is the embodiment of ADHD and hyperactivity, where Dr. Hill is more of the OCD, methodical person, like I have to have all of this stuff. But I mean, Dr. Hill is fueled purely by academic jealousy and straight up vibes, because I love his character as well, but he is just so much worse, because he's like, if I can't have tenure, like nobody will. And I just don't think he could handle the fact that Herbert was actually smarter than him, because he was, in the sense of reanimating the dead. How Herbert went about his life, he was not very smart about. He's all over the place and hectic. But I think he could not handle the fact that he was able to do this before he was, because then he blackmails him. He's like, I know what you've been doing here, and I could take you down, or I could just take your reagent. And he's like, yeah, sure, take my reagent, and then I'm gonna grab the shovel and fucking decapitate you.
There's a little bit more cat corpse. There's a little bit more, and you're dead.
Yeah, and you're dead. Like, this entire movie could have been avoided if they both just went to therapy. Like, that is an option they both could have done. But anyways, so they commit fully to their roles, and I think they're a perfect balance, like a yin and yang. Because, like I said, you have Dr. Herbert West, who is frantic and hectic, and yes, he is very brilliant, but he's also very dumb in other senses. And then Dr. Hill, and so speaking of that commitment, the movie doesn't commit just with the characters and the story. The practical effects, I mean, there were a lot of fluids in this movie, not just the green reagent, but there was goopy madness that was just dripping all over this movie. But that green reagent is pretty fucking iconic. I think even if you don't know the movie, like, I feel like people have seen that still, because there's one shot that is just like the most seen photo for me. It's when he is first giving Dr. Hill the reagent when he has his head in thing, and he's just got the jar up like this. I'm like, that's an iconic photo. It is also the most aesthetically pleasing resurrection fluid in horror history, in my opinion. It is. Yeah.
It's just glow stick fluid, from what I understand. That's all it is, right?
Yeah. Like, who was like, oh, we need to just make this fucking nuclear highlighter green, because they were brilliant and they were absolutely correct. I call it the Mountain Dew Necromancer edition. If they ever come out with that, we should make that happen. But I love the green reagent. I love all the practical effects. There's a great, not only head crush, but a head throw towards the end of the movie when I believe it's oh my god,
right when the security guard gets off his break. That's when it happens.
Yeah, he just that head just gets yeeted right past him, smashes the wall, blood and guts go everywhere. I mean, good God, I think it's amazing. I love practical effects, especially today with how CG is going. It just doesn't look that great. But for people who might not be into that, I wonder, because do you think it's over the top, or do you think it's just the right amount?
I think it's a bit purposely over the top in a lot of stuff. Now, I know they did a lot of the zombies that come up later, if you can call them zombies. They're just reanimated corpses, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess technically this is a zombie movie, but it's like a Frankenstein kind of thing. Yeah, it's like calling Frankenstein a zombie movie. Like, yeah, I guess, but not really.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, all the effects with like all those corpses, like you get the burnt zombie towards the end. Mm-hmm. Or when they're putting the blood vials in the doctor's head in the tray.
That was so great.
The doctor's like, feed it to me. Love it.
I love this. And I mean, that part, that whole bit in particular is one of the most over-the-top moments in the entire movie when, of course, clearly, it's not something that would be realistic. He has no way to breathe or talk or anything. But when he reanimates the head and then reanimates the body, and he's sitting there talking to Dr. Hill, he's like, you bastard. And then the body comes up behind him and knocks him out. Two questions I have about that scene specifically. One, why do we think Dr. Hill was a little bit more cognitive and able to talk, whereas the dean, he just went mad? They don't really explain that, and they don't really say what different dosages they're giving them. I just always find that interesting, how one of them is pretty cognitive. I mean, he is a decapitated head working with his body to move around and do things, but, Dean just goes nuts. I mean, of course, Dean does he does get lobotomized as well. But
yeah. No, that's always when I think, why is he? I always kind of ask that question, and I just assumed maybe it was because it was the most fresh, and maybe he did he just guessed a better dosage. That's true. The only thing I can. That's the only thing I can. That doesn't make. That's just me sort of being like, okay, because it does a little bit like hand wavy a bit. Yeah, and it's just kind of like, well, he can, whatever. It works. It's a horror movie. It's a horror movie where a dead cat was flying around the basement. Just get over it. All right.
Great scene as well. I love that scene. But yeah, like it doesn't really make sense. But although it does technically, because the first body that they reanimate had been there for a couple hours. It took a lot of reagent, and he came back immediately violent. And then when they do Dean Halsey, he is much fresher and comes back pretty volatile, but then does kind of go cower in the corner. And then the freshest one that he does is, Dr. Hill. So I guess we can just kind of make an assumption that maybe that's why. They just don't fully explain it. And it doesn't need an explanation. Like, it doesn't affect my rating, but that was one of my questions. But my second question, specifically about that scene, is I wonder why Dr. Hill didn't just kill Herbert. He knocked him out and took all his work. I mean, I guess he just doesn't care about killing him. He just wanted to take his work and become successful because he knew he could drag Herbert's name through the mud. Maybe it was more about the revenge aspect of completely canceling Herbert as a person rather than killing him, because then he might have to, who's going to answer for Herbert's dead body? So,
and I always wondered, like, why didn't he just kill him? Like, it's he could have just done that.
He was having a hard time, moving the body around with, not having a head attached. So he probably just, I think he was so much more focused on just taking that, because when Herbert, he agrees. He's like, oh yeah, just have my reagent. He's like, oh yes, I'm going to be so famous. I think he was so much more focused on fame and fortune than because he clearly feels way above Herbert West. He knows. Or at least he thinks he is. But I also think he's still fearful that, Herbert West is a little bit smarter than him.
Yeah. And Herbert West isn't really in it for like the fame and fortune so much. It's like he just wants the science to be right. He just wants to be proven right. Not necessarily that he'll be rich and famous for it. Just the fact that he's done something that nobody's done.
Right.
It's pure ego. It's pure ego for Herbert. It's pure ego for
Herbert. Right. It's exactly what it is. That's why I wanted to start with, the ego part of it, because Dr. Hill wants to be, recognized and be famous and have this, but Herbert's just like, no, I just want to fucking do this. I just want to get this right. I've gone through so many tests and it's just never right. So
he's like those scientists in Finland or in Scandinavia who figured out the GLP-1, the Ozempic. They just wanted to give it away. Yeah, like, they don't care about the money. Like, they just like, I just want to give this away.
Take this. It's free. Reanimate your cat. Why not? But yeah, I love the kind of the trials they go through too, because they don't exactly know, or at least Herbert doesn't know exactly what to do and how much to give, because he's only tested on animals. I think the first one he fully gave the serum to was that Dr. Gruber in Germany, and of course that didn't go well. And that is an incredible cold open as well. I mean, this movie it gives you whiplash with how jarring that opening is. I mean, his eyes are bulging out of his head, blood is just going everywhere. It's a great cold open, and I think they do go. It's been a minute since I've seen Bride, but I think they go a little bit more into the backstory of what happened in Germany and stuff like that. But I can't remember. But yeah, the practical effects in this are top tier. Everything looks still good today. I mean, 41 years later, and I'm still like, you know what? This is why I love practical effects. They're still holding up.
Exactly. CGI does not. Now, some practical effects look bad years later. Yeah. But typically, but CGI always looks bad 5 years later. Like, even like Marvel movies sometimes that came out in like 2013 or something. It's like, they can be cleaned up a little bit better now.
Well, what's interesting is, I don't know what, I was listening to something and they were talking about the progression of CG. Oh, it was my friend's show, the Shameless Picture Show. And they were talking about how when CG first came around, it looked so good because people were taking their time with it. It was an art form. It really was. And now they're just trying to pump out shit so quick. They don't care. And it's just such a bizarre part of cinema that we're getting worse CG because they just want to crank out as many movies as possible rather than, like, I'm watching the Transformers movies. I've mentioned this on the last few shows. Those movies look fucking incredible still to this day. And they were, mid 2000s movies. So it's interesting how CGI is just getting infinitely worse as time goes on. Something that,
and also it was more expensive back in those days too, so they had to be good because it cost the studios a lot more money.
Yeah,
so nobody wants to spend all that money for a crap product. Now it's just kind of like, all right, well, whatever. We'll just sprinkle a little Doritos dust on there. We're good to go.
We'll throw it back to Gore Verbinski, who we were talking about earlier. I mean, Davy Jones still to this day is one of the greatest moments of CG history, in my opinion. Like I watched those recently, and I'm like, it still looks so goddamn good. I can't believe how good it looks, but I will always love practical effects over CG unless it's done well. Then and it's needed. Obviously, Davy Jones is like, we can't building a practical mask like that with all the tentacles that would be very hard. So I understand that they had to do CG there. And while we're on the practical effects practical effects topic here, I think the head in the tray is probably my favorite bit because it goes on for the back end of the movie. There is still a lot of other good gore, but I just think that whole, we talked about it briefly, but that whole bit of him carrying his own head around and feeding his head blood is it's peak 80s for me. It is peak 80s. But on that same note, we have to talk about that scene. Everyone knows the scene. The head in the tray, the audacity that this guy has. My God, it's the one part of the movie. This is the part of the movie I mentioned that takes me out of it. It's completely unnecessary. It does nothing for the story other than that Dr. Hill is distracted doing this. So Dr. West finds him, but it's just so. It doesn't fit into the movie, and it's also very creepy because Dr. Hill is significantly older than Barbara Crampton, and he's like, I've always thought you were...
head scene.
Yeah, it's like, no. That's my only one part. It's my only issue with this movie is that I just feel so out of place, and it's like, and that's where I think this movie, the one time that it crosses the line, is this moment for me. It's just like, we didn't need this.
But it's devil's advocate. Like, I'm with you on there. It's not needed, but it's. I remember it was on one of Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments. Was that moment?
Interesting. Okay.
It's the thing that everybody really remembers. It's the thing that really sticks with you in this movie.
That's true.
Now, and of course, in the 80s, it hasn't aged as well. It was, you can hand wave it again by it being the 80s, and this wasn't as much of a topic as it is now.
Right.
I mean, same thing with like the Evil Dead when she gets, when the tree goes up. It's, that hasn't aged as well, but at the time it was just kind of like, oh, how can we just be messed up?
Right.
How messed up can we make this?
That's fair.
Which is, and how shocking and memorable can we make this? Well, how about a head giving head? Well, and of course, and you get that he's enthralled by Barbara Crampton's character the whole movie. Mm-hmm. This was originally a 2.5 hour. The original cut was 2.5 hours long.
Whoa, that is
So they got wow. So the whole like Dr. Hill was hypnotizing everybody. Like, you got that right?
Oh yeah, that's what I loved about the ending of the movie. It's such a like an aha moment when Dr. Hill takes Herbert's reagent and realizes that lobotomizing anybody he reanimates is now under his control. That was really fucking cool. So yeah, they are those are kind of like, it's almost like zombie lore and vampire lore mixed into one, because you have that hive mind, but these are dead things and not blood-sucking freaks. So so was there more exploration of that side of things?
Yeah, because it's not made clear at all in the theatrical or even the unrated cut that he's just like leering at people and they're agreeing with him, and that's really all you get. So in the original cut, it explained that he was hypnotizing or mesmerizing people. And apparently they got rid of that because they thought that 2 supernatural things were too much. You don't need an A and a B supernatural thing. But there's also a school of thought that's like, well, if you have a secondary supernatural thing, that can really bolster the original supernatural thing, which shows like, oh, there's all these supernatural sort of magical things going on. Now that this is, the one's science and the other one is, I guess, magic, if you want to call that hypnotizing
kind of like
it's
black,
hokey.
black
It's hokey.
magic.
Yeah, it's hokey Vegas Strip magic.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. So yeah, it's like I understand the scene and I get it. It's just one of those because it is during this era of the 80s. There was exploitation films were primarily in the 70s, but it is a pretty good mix of practical effects and exploitation mixed into one scene. And it also I also think they added that in, and this is pure speculation, to show just how worse Dr. Hill is than Herbert West. Because sure, he might not like Barbara Crampton's character, but that's just because, she's kind of getting in his way, really. But he doesn't lay hands on her ever. He doesn't ever have any ill intent towards women. So it's entirely possible that this was just to up the villain factor with Dr. Hill. Also, any relation, Jason Hill, to Dr. Hill? I forgot to ask you this.
Thankfully, no.
Had to check that family tree.
Yeah, dodged a bullet there.
Yeah. So, really, that's the only scene. But then, you are rewarded after that scene with a great where everyone is reanimated because Herbert's like, I have a plan. And Dr. Hill's like, oh, I have a plan too. And all of the fucking corpses sit up and start attacking. And it's just a brilliant scene. But I did want to talk about Stuart Gordon here, mainly because I think he walks this razor thin line tonally, but it makes sense because it's weirdly theatrical because he has a theater background. It's funny and it's grotesque. Like how do you mix all of those three things together and you get it's just weird how many different elements and moving pieces are in this movie. It seems like on paper this had to have seemed like a lot. At least that's how I would feel reading this. Reading
for sure.
Yeah, reading the script, I'd be like, I don't know, this is a little far-fetched, and it doesn't really have much relation to the short story H.P. Lovecraft did. A lot of the names and places are the same, and there's some specific moments, but they really kind of do their own thing. And
they are at Miskatonic University, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, which is a school?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very
Lovecraft.
Yeah, very popular Lovecraft. It's like Stephen King in Maine. That's
sure.
That's H.P. Lovecraft Maine. But it's just one of those movies. No one's winking at the camera, even though they totally could be. It's played straight, but completely for the audience that is watching it is hilarious. And those are my favorite kind of movies, and I think that's why it works so well, is when they're not in on the joke, everybody in the movie. The situation that's happening is a real terrifying situation, but us as the viewers, we're like, this is crazy though. Like this is just wacky.
This is just madness.
Yeah, it's just madness.
It's like watching a World Star video in 2015,
Yes, it's exactly what it's like. But I just love the drive behind everyone in this film because you can see it combines a lot of things, but it's still well crafted at the same time. It's a little, it's minorly rough around the edges, but not by much. I think even with this 4K scan, that 4K scan looks incredible. Everything is shot and framed very well. Like I said, the score by Richard Band. I love that main intro, like the overarching theme of the movie. Incredible. And you just get this fantastic movie. I can't speak highly enough about this movie. And like I said, it's a loose relation to the short story. I think the short story is maybe 5 or 6 pages. Apparently, though, there are a lot of short stories on Herbert West that I have trivia about with H.P. Lovecraft. But funny enough, I've never actually read any of his work. I started to read the short story, but then I ran out of time today. And there were a lot of the beats, like Dean Halsey is mentioned, Herbert West, of course. And I didn't get far enough, but I think it is told from the perspective of Dan after everything has happened, because he is explaining Herbert as his close colleague and friend. So it seems like, it's written from Dan's perspective after all of the events have happened, which is really kind of an interesting way to tell that story. So
it's Scottie Pippen explaining why Michael Jordan sucks so much.
This was my friend. You're probably wondering why I ended up here. Yep, that's me. Record scratch. So I would love
just Herbert West putting his blanket over Dan on the floor, the morgue.
Exactly. I would have liked, I don't know when Lovecraft, I think he was early 1900s, but I would love to see his reaction to this movie, just to see, because he didn't like writing the Re-Animator stuff, but he got paid well to do it, so he kept doing it. So it would just be that. It's just something I wish happened, but I'm pretty sure he passed away long before this movie would come out.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, people are still, it's crazy how many adaptations of his work are out there. I mean, From Beyond is another one that we mentioned earlier, directed by Stuart Gordon, also involving Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton as well. And it's either Ken Foray or David Keith. I don't know why it's
Ken Foray.
Okay,
it's Ken Foray.
They're two big brolic black guys, and they have commanding presences, and I always get them confused. But it's Ken Foray. Yeah. That is another just, oh my God, I don't know if we've covered From Beyond, but we might have to. From Beyond is
great. It's a good one too.
Yeah, I love From Beyond, and they came. I think it was 85 and then 86, so back to back with those movies. So I don't know. You got anything else on Re-Animator? Anything else you'd like to hit? Any other moments?
I did see a clip of Barbara Crampton talking about filming this movie.
Oh no shit!
And it said it was so because they were doing 18-hour days, and she's like, the only way most people get through that was we were all on cocaine. At least I was doing cocaine.
Wow, for being on cocaine, she definitely, man, I would be all over the place if I was,
Yeah.
I could see Herbert, Jeffrey Combs doing cocaine because of his manic energy for sure. Maybe that's what hyped him up. It's all the cocaine.
Yeah. There's an old movie where it's called Hobgoblins. Mystery Science Theater did that episode once.
Oh, I love Hobgoblins.
And there's some random. Yeah, and there's the random scene where there's in the room just dancing for no reason.
Yeah.
I would never forget. One of them is they're doing the dub. There's it's the 80s. Let's do cocaine and vote for Reagan. It's the 80s. Let's do cocaine and vote for Reagan.
Yeah. That if you haven't seen Hobgoblins, that is one of the greatest bad movies you'll ever see. And what do they fight with? Is it rakes they fight with? Is it the rake fight? I don't know. There's two guys.
Yeah.
It's the greatest fight of all time. God, Hobgoblins is so fucking bad. But I do love it. So, I don't really have an answer to this question, but I want to find someone who hasn't seen Re-Animator and see if it would still work for a modern audience today. It worked for me in 2019, and I still think it would work for people just because it's not timeless, obviously. But really, there's not a lot of, now that I'm thinking about it, there's not a lot of dead giveaways. It's the 80s. But you can tell just from the aesthetic and stuff like that. But it's one of those movies that I feel is clearly standing the test of time. It's been 41 years old, and I think it will continue to do that just because of the sheer craft everyone poured into this movie. And I still love the fact that it's Stuart Gordon's first horror movie. What a way to come onto the scene, adapting H.P. Lovecraft and making this movie. That's a pretty good first start. And that's probably why he got a lot of other directing jobs. So would you say this is essential 80s viewing, Jason?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Especially when you get sick of the slasher stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. You move on to Re-Animator. It's a good palette because there's really not that many movies like this from the 80s. Like I said, the closest thing I can think of is Evil Dead 2. because that's kind of a zombie movie, but not really.
Right.
And this has some of the sort of manic comedy.
Yeah.
And also, I always see Jeffrey Combs as sort of a even lesser Bruce Campbell, who somebody you think would be bigger than they actually are.
Right.
But get stuck doing a lot of B movies. Their career just kind of never really took off the way you would think it should have. Now for cult fans, and he'll go to comic conventions for the rest of his life and be okay.
Oh yeah.
But you would have think he would have gotten more. His highest profile project was probably The Frightmares, which a lot of people haven't seen or forgotten about.
Which is a shame because The Frightmares is an excellent movie, and he plays he's one of my favorite villains. He is, and the slicked over hair and just his demeanor. He is such an incredibly talented person that I agree. I wish he got bigger. He does have over 200 credits, but it's all for
sure. He works. He works, but it's always smaller scale B budget movies or something you'll see that came straight to Tubi.
Yeah.
And it's just how did you not get bigger than you are? It's a shame.
It is a shame.
And same thing with Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell's he's done some more mainstream stuff, and he is, even if people haven't seen Evil Dead 2, they know who Bruce Campbell is.
Right.
Jeffrey Combs not quite to that level, but he is known. I mean, people know what Re-Animator is, even if they've never seen it.
Right. No, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, even before Re-Animator, he didn't do much. Then he would do like From Beyond. He did Cellar Dweller. I forgot about that. He was also, of course, in Bride and Beyond Re-Animator. I still haven't seen Beyond. He was in Trancers 2. Well, now I have to watch Trancers 2 because I fucking love the first Trancers. That's such a great movie. But yeah, he's just kind of in all these little, side movies. He's also in Castle Freak, The Frighteners, stuff like that. Most recently, though, oh God, what did I just see him in? Like, the movie wasn't that great, but his performance, I mean, it's fucking Jeffrey Combs. Oh, yeah, a Stream. It was a movie called Stream, which wasn't great, but it's actually the second time he's played a hotel owner, because he also played a hotel owner in, or like a front desk person at I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which is funny. So there's a couple movies he's played.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He's a small role. And then he was also in recently Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls, which love him in that, but I can't, the whole bit that guy does is just a bit much. But you're right. It's like, he really should be in bigger production things because he's talented. So it always makes me wonder what happened. Like, it's not like it's a problem, but where, I don't know, like, how do people not see the talent this man clearly has? I don't know. It's something I'll never understand. So I think I've hit all of my notes here. I'm kind of going through. Yeah, I think I've hit everything. Unless you have any other I was trying to think. Was there one more moment I wanted to talk about? Oh, yes, there was one more moment, because this is the second time I've noticed this. Because Barbara Crampton in Chopping Mall, there's a scene, and me and John talked about this scene, where Barbara Crampton is topless, and she walks up to the camera, puts her hands like this, and is just, for no reason other than she looks great. You know what I mean? Like, and she did that in this movie too. I realized after she's having sex with Dan, she walks up to the camera, just straight to the camera, stands there for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then puts the bra on. And I'm like, it's such a strange thing that we're doing here.
That was straight. Yeah, that was just straight 80s gratuitousness. Yeah, that's really all that was.
Right. I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh, this is the second time you have stopped what you were doing, walked to the camera in full view, just like, here are my boobs. I mean, I would want to capture myself if I looked that great. I want to capture that moment in time as well. But I thought that was kind of a weird parallel between this and Shopping Mall.
No, yeah, that's just and they clearly blocked that shot for that to happen, and it was all like, same thing with. I mean, it was the 80s. This was a lower level. You got to get, that's what it was.
You got to get it a couple times. That is Re-Animator here from 1985. Let's move on to the final cut. Oh, what do we got? Some trivia here. Oh, no, sorry, taglines. 2 good ones, and one is very long. Death is just the beginning. It will scare you to pieces. And Herbert West has a very good head on his shoulders. And another one and a dish on his desk, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Some good trivia here. The special effects department went through 24 gallons of fake blood during the shoot. Makeup's effect artist John Nolan said that Re-Animator was the bloodiest film he had ever worked on. In the past, he had never used more than 2 gallons of blood on a film. And in the grand scheme of things, 24 gallons, I mean, nowadays really isn't a lot, but no, that's still for that movie. I kind of mentioned this, alluded to this earlier, but H.P. Lovecraft never liked his Re-Animator stories. He only wrote them because he got $5 per installment. And he lived in the early, 1900s. So that was a pretty good chunk of change there.
Inflation, that's like $100. That's like $200, $300 a piece.
It's not bad. Stuart Gordon and Dennis Paoli originally intended to be faithful to H.P. Lovecraft's story, but the film ultimately had little in common with the story, which is, was intended to be a parody of Frankenstein, and that's basically what it is. This is something I found interesting because I haven't seen the original Psycho in a while, but apparently the opening theme borrows heavily from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Opening theme by Bernard Herrmann. In his review, Leonard Maltin gave the movie 3 stars and then stated that the movie was penalized a ½ star for its blatant ripoff of the Psycho theme.
It is very, very Psycho. I'm sure there's mashups on YouTube where you can watch those, but it sounds very almost as close without a lawsuit.
It's like Vanilla Ice and Under Pressure, those two songs. One difference. No,
but there's a ting. There's an extra ting there. It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's dun 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 dun. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, it's not the same. We added a ting there.
And the opening credit sequence pay visual homage to Saul Bassett's work in Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. So clearly, fan of Alfred Hitchcock. These are some of the pettiest goofs I have ever seen. In my and I love petty goofs, and I've said previously that these are the pettiest, but I think these might take the cake for pettiest goofs. So as you clearly know, well, this one's kind of like whatever. Bone saws, like cast cutters, don't rotate; they vibrate, and he uses one to like cut a guy's chest open. A severed head. Actually, yeah, exactly. It's like, well, a severed head wouldn't be able to speak or breathe without lungs. Thanks, fucking nerd. No explanation is given to how the revived severed head of Dr. Hill can take the rest of his separated body and walk through open doors. Both parts of him merely being revived wouldn't explain that. Okay, thanks, nerd. And then these last two, oh my God, some fucking medical student had to have written these because this is the nerdiest goddamn shit. When Herbert is experimenting on Dean Halsey, he says he's injecting 12 cc of the reagent, but it's clearly a lot more. And when Herbert says he's upping the dosage on his first human test patient by 20 cc, he's clearly injecting a lot more than that. Oh my God, guys. Talk about picking apart the movie in the weirdest way possible. Christ almighty.
Or it's a bodybuilder who's like, that's all this gear I shoot at myself, that's nowhere near.
That's nowhere near. What do you mean? Rated 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb. For our purposes of the Nightmare Index, that is a 3.55 out of 5. We have a 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd, an 88% on the Tomato Meter, an 82% audience score. Everyone seems to love this movie. What did you give this, Jason?
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5, like a strong 3. It's not quite a 4, but it's as strong a 3.5 as you can make it.
All right.
There's something, like the qualms about the hand waving we've talked about.
Correct.
I just kind of wish they would explain a couple things more. But overall, it's just a blast of a movie. 3.5 was a good score.
From Jason, it is a good score. Yeah. As you should know from Jason, what did Jason make me watch all of last year? You should know he's usually around a 2 to a 3, so 3.5 is good. Like I said, for me, I think this is basically a perfect movie outside of that one scene. 4.5 from me. That gives us a Nightmare Index of 3.84. So that means Re-Animator is sitting comfortably right in between We Are Still Here at a 3.69 and Dead and Buried at a 3.91. Funny, Barbara Crampton's movies are right next to each other on the Nightmare Index. I love that. Not a Frightmare certified slap, which I am surprised, but that's okay because we've had such a long run of certified slaps. It's okay that we don't have one. I can't have every single fucking movie be a slap. That's just silly.
And you can blame me because I drag things down. You can blame me for that.
Yeah, typically,
this is an honorary slap. This gets an honorary slap.
Okay, an honorary slap. We'll give it an honorary golf clap. 2 fingers. Okay, yeah, there we go.
There we go.
I forgot to ask you to do funny reviews because I always forget. But did you happen to grab any funny reviews?
I wish I did. I completely forgot.
That's fine. I've got plenty here. Yeah, I do this to myself every time. The only person I remind is my wife because she lives in the same house as me. And every other time I'm like, did you get reviews that I didn't remind you of? No? Yeah, that's my fault. So we've got 4 stars from Russman. Best use of a talking heads poster ever. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's above Dan's bed. That's pretty great.
Yeah. The 3.5 stars from Kia. I'd expect nothing less from a motherfucker named Herbert.
Yeah.
5 stars from Amaya. Bitches be like, this is my comfort character, and it's an insane scientist who murdered someone with a shovel. He's on my leg. And then 5 stars from Zara. I think Dan and Herbert should have kissed.
Yeah.
And then the one right below that is also funny. 5 stars as well. Do you think Herbert and Dan ever explored each other's bodies? Good Lord.
And then heated rivalry for the world to it's instead of hockey, it's lab partners.
Oh my goodness. All right. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher, Threads, and YouTube at Frightmares Podcast. Our email is stayspooky@outlook.com. You can also follow me personally on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor. Oh my God. I was just like a mom right there. I went Corey, Spencer, Jason. What is your name on Letterboxd?
My name is Jason. It's Meow Pacino.
Meow Pacino.
On Letterboxd.
That's the only one that beats Slafferman is Meow Pacino. That is such a fucking killer name. If you'd like to expand your movie podcast listening, check out the Shameless Picture Show, the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club, and 1 Week Rental as well. Something that I probably should have mentioned at the top of this episode, but I have ADHD and that's fun. This is actually our first episode on a podcast network, Someone's Favorite Productions. This is exciting. I've been wanting to be on a network for quite some time. It was actually a goal for this year to get on a network. So now we are. They have about 25 or 30 shows, very diverse, all involving physical media reviews, commentary tracks, just everything about film. So we are part of that. Go follow them. Someone's Favorite Production. It's run by a guy named Ryan Verrill, who I will have on the podcast sometime this month. He runs a page called The Disc Connected about physical media releases. So we are very excited to be under their umbrella. And that's probably why you're wondering, oh, there's ads now. I'm not a huge fan of the ads. I know, but you got to pay the bills. And basically the ads pay for the hosting site. So there will be some at the beginning, some at the end, and I might throw like one in the middle there. So I don't. And
he's got to pay me my residuals for being on this.
Oh, that's right
give me
too.
A fat stack.
Yeah, I have to make sure I keep track of that so we can all get paid. But so it's very exciting. I want to thank Ryan Verrill personally for having me on the podcast network. So. Here's to more, hopefully more discovery. We might have some more guests planned down the road, but I'm very excited to be on this network. Next week, Gabby and I will be doing The Resurrected from 1991 as our deep cut pick, and it's not streaming anywhere, so I'm really glad I picked this movie. You can't even rent it, so hopefully you own it.
Is there even like a YouTube rip? Was it like a VHS YouTube rip on YouTube? Oh,
nope. Check that too, because you've conditioned me at this point to check, and I've actually it's come in clutch a few times, like for the last episode that we did. But so I might change this because I didn't realize this wasn't available. I mean,
sometimes you can get lucky on Internet Archive. Just type in the movie and then type in the Internet Archive.
See, Jason.
Sometimes you can get lucky with that.
All right, so it might change, but as it stands now, it's The Resurrected. It's a Dan O'Bannon film, the director of The Return of the Living Dead. So until then, stay tuned and stay spooky.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description